You're going to hear an audio tape of Grandma Iole Banker, Grandma Iole Martina Banker, and I'm going to show you photos of the family. This is the four generations. Ida Rivoire Martinat at the top, Iole Martinat Banker on the right, Yolanda Banker Coates on the left, and me in the bottom there. And this is just a little clip of everyday life in, 2002, probably later in the year of 2002, when Grandma Iole and I were reading together. She'd help me study and read my books for school together. So here we go.
It doesn't make any difference whether you take the individual's or the gene's perspective. The process of meiosis ensures that every autosomal gene has an equal chance of getting into every given gamete. As long as this is true, all selfish genes should act in concert to help their host produce as many successful gametes as possible.
The story was gametes again.
Gametes are like egg and sperm.
Oh, yeah. You are so pretty.
You're so funny.
The story changes when different genes reproduce by different pathways. Then only the selfish gene perspective gives the right answer.
I just like that part because Grandma Iole said that I looked pretty. She'd always tell me nice compliments like that, like, I'm so pretty. I know I'm not really, but I love to hear it from her. Just, it makes you feel so good when somebody says something like that. Now these paintings, these pictures are paintings that my dad made. So Eugene Arthur Coates, he painted these. I'm not sure how he learned to paint. I know his mom Elsie was a good painter. I've seen some of her paintings. She had a fall scene of trees changing colors and kind of a golden walkway path. Not a walkway, just in between the trees. It was kind of golden leaves on the ground. And I think her daughter Yvonne, my aunt, my dad's sister, said that his mom, Elsie Edna Bolton Coates, was an even better painter than my dad was. Maybe they just had different styles or something.
Many successful gametes as possible.
The story was gametes again.
Gametes are like egg and sperm.
Oh, yeah. You are so pretty.
You're so funny.
The story changes when different genes reproduce by different pathways.
So these are more paintings that my dad made. It's the same one there. I'm really glad that we got to keep the paintings. I don't know why there's green leaves above that painting. That's interesting. It's like it's outside. And he painted these too. I wish my camera that I took them with was a little bit better. I think we're losing a little bit of the more vibrant nature of the paintings. I mean, I think they were not too bright and vibrant. The colors are more mild and subdued. But I think probably looked even better in real life compared to me taking a picture and then putting it on here. And this photo was taken, we went up to Chantry Flats. So we took the road in Arcadia, Santa Anita Avenue, just kept going, and made it up to Chantry Flats. We kind of went up there on a whim one day. And I had been up there before, not too long before, and I knew there was a little petting area, like a petting zoo, with not really a zoo, but there was goats and, oh, I don't know what there were, maybe something like that. And I really wanted to take Grandma Iole to see them because you could park like right next to where they were. But I was just a little bit afraid because the road was a dirt road in just this one little part of it, and kind of steep in a part. And I just didn't want to get stuck, up there with the van. And I could imagine because the van was really low to the ground because of the ramp. There wasn't much space between the ground and the floorboard of the car. But I remember driving up there, I was a little bit scared because it's kind of a scary road right on the edge of the mountain, on the cliff there, and it's pretty steep, so you're winding back and forth, and it seems like, like a switchback. It seems like it's never going to end. And but Grandma Iole handled it fine. We got some great views of the mountains up there, but we didn't go back. And this one's at Fossilman's. We get our ice cream. I was just looking at a blood test that she had way back in 2005, and even on that one, her glucose level was elevated. It was out of the normal range. It was 108, and the reference range was something like 65 to 99. Like that was the highest it could be, and she was at 108. So, that was way back in 2006. And so, possibly for all these years from 2006 until 2020, maybe she had like pre-diabetes and nobody really, made a big deal about it, or they didn't tell me, it's definitely pre-diabetes. It's just like, well, once in a while her sugar level's kind of on the higher side, but nobody really looked into it to say, hey, maybe we should do, a couple blood tests in a row just to make sure. Or she was probably like just barely on the pre-diabetic side. Like, it wasn't a clear cut. It was just kind of like just sort of borderline. And so nobody really talked to me about it. Like, well, maybe you should try to give her a little bit less sugar. You can see in the ice cream cup there on the bottom, it's the orange sherbet, and on the top it's chocolate. And Grandma Iole liked the cone. She liked to eat the cone with the ice cream when she could. I think that was almost most of the time. Sugar cone, but I wish somebody would have said, it's up to you if you want to just let her eat whatever she wants, because she's already almost, in her 80s, or, about like that, then fine, let her, she's already in her 80s, then, let her eat whatever she wants, it's a decent age. But if you, are really concerned and want to make her be really healthy, or possibly even live a little bit longer, you might want to watch the sugar level, because it is a little bit high. And, if it stays high like this, maybe they weren't calling it pre-diabetic back then. I think that's a more recent term, but still they could have just said, to be really healthy, you should have the sugar level be a little bit lower. So, if you can find other things she likes, maybe instead of ice cream all the time, maybe, once in a while you could have a yogurt instead, or, variety like that. And that would have really helped me, because then I could have talked it over with Grandma Yola, and we could have made the choice together if, you know, if that was something that might help her live a little bit longer, or reduce her chance of, getting diabetes or something. Then, that was a choice that we should have been able to make, and not kind of like the doctors making that choice for us, saying, um, thinking to themselves, like, well, she's sort of old already, so, let her eat whatever she wants. I mean, at least let us choose. I wish the doctors would have kind of, if it shows up as abnormal or out of range on the blood test, I wish they'd discuss it with me. That's all. But if they, think, oh, well, it's not that far off range, and that they don't even bring it to my attention, then I'm going to think, oh, everything was fine on her blood test, and, we don't do anything about it. Although I guess a good rule of thumb would be to always get a copy either online or in print of a blood test as soon as you get it, and see for yourself if anything is out of range. And anything that's out of range, even if it's just a little, it's worth a talk with the doctor about, it's not bad like this, but if it gets higher, what could my risks be? And then if I would have asked that question, then the doctor might have said, well, you really don't need to worry about it. It's really not that far out of range. But, if you want her to live to be, 100 or something, you probably don't want that level getting too much higher, or staying at this level for a long time, or, getting much higher. Um, and just an idea of something to lower it, like maybe just try to cut back on the sweets just a little bit. And that could have made all the difference. And that's my first cousin, Gail. She's, so my dad, Eugene Arthur Coates, he had a sister, two sisters. One of those sisters was Colleen Coates, and she had a son and a daughter, so Jim, and then this is Gail Holloway, both of them Holloway. And I've never met her yet, but I've communicated on social media with her. She seems nice. And those are my Italian cousins. So Grandma Yola's mother, Ida Martinat, had a sister, Clelia, and these are Clelia's great-grandchildren. So Clelia had Eva, and Eva had Tonino, and Tonino had Chiara, Thomas, and Julia on the right. Bonetto. I like to get Grandma nice and warm for our outings. She enjoyed being warm. She likes scarves a lot and keeping her head warm. And there's the Santa Anita racetrack when we went to see the Bulldog Derby, little bulldogs racing each other. And these two photos were taken at Mimi's Cafe in Monrovia. The decorations are really cute in there. We like the French sayings that they have written on the walls. Like one of them says, "Laissez les bons temps rouler." So let the good times roll. It's a great picture. And just like the French phrase at the top of this, on the wall there above my head, it says, "A biento." Until soon. Hopefully I'll be making another little video soon.